This is the Yozma IN10 electric dirt bike, and the first thing I noticed was the snap off the line. I rolled onto a packed dirt path, cracked the throttle a quarter turn, and the front end got light right away. That mid-drive motor hits with a clean, predictable surge. It feels planted through the middle of the frame, not like power is being yanked from the rear axle. For anyone new to the term, a mid-drive mounts the motor in the center and sends power to the rear wheel through a chain. It keeps the weight balanced and delivers torque in a way that helps with climbs and quick direction changes. From my experience, that's exactly how this bike rides. Key features that sold me after a few sessions: the 2600-watt peak mid-drive, the full suspension with a nitrogen rear shock and a beefy hydraulic fork, and real hydraulic disc brakes paired with EABS. EABS is basically electronic assist for braking. It helps the bike slow down more smoothly and consistently, and it reduces fade when the brakes heat up. I also appreciate the UL-certified 48-volt 23-hour battery and the built-in BMS, which is a battery management system that protects against overcharging, overheating, and short circuits. Those safety layers matter when you're charging in a garage or carrying the pack into the house. I'm 5'8", and the 28-inch seat height works for me. The cockpit is compact but not cramped at my size, and the moto-style seat gives me room to shift forward when I'm climbing and slide back when I'm loading the rear tire for traction. If you're taller than about 5'9", you might feel a little folded up, especially in aggressive riding. A taller bar or different pegs could help, but out of the box, it clearly favors smaller adults and teens. In my opinion, the geometry is aimed at riders looking for a nimble feel rather than a long-haul cruiser stance. Acceleration is the highlight. In the highest speed mode, I saw an indicated 39 to 40 miles per hour on flat pavement with no wind, and on tight trails the torque makes the bike pop out of corners. Steep sections that usually make small electric bikes bog down weren't a problem here. The motor puts power low and central, so the chassis stays composed when I'm climbing loose, rutted lines. It will lift the front wheel if you provoke it, but the throttle is progressive enough that beginners won't feel like they're on a bucking bronco. Suspension performance surprised me. The front fork has long travel and doesn't clank at the bottom on hard landings. The rear nitrogen shock reacts quickly to square edges, roots, curb drops, the kind of hits that normally jar your back. After a long session at the local pump track and some trail drops, damping stayed consistent. No pogo feel, no wallow through berms. I could push harder each lap without the bike fighting me. Brakes are legit. The hydraulic setup bites hard without being grabby, and the lever feel is easy to modulate with one finger. EABS adds a steady, predictable decel, especially when the trail gets dusty and traction isn't perfect. I didn't notice any fading on repeated hard stops from trail speeds. This matters when the bike can touch 40 miles per hour. You want stopping power that inspires trust. Let's talk battery and range. The brand claims up to 63 miles, and with a light pace on mixed surfaces, I logged 36 to 40 miles before I hit the last bar. Pushing hard with lots of full throttle blasts and hill repeats dropped me into the mid-20s. That's normal for this class. Range is very sensitive to rider weight, terrain, and how aggressive you ride. The 5A Charger topped me up from near empty in just over 5 hours, which is fast enough to do a morning ride, charge over lunch, and go again. The removable battery with a key lock is convenient for security and charging indoors. Tires and wheels are set up mullet style, a 14-inch front and a 12-inch rear with knobby fat rubber. The bigger front wheel helps roll over rocks and roots without deflecting, while the smaller rear keeps the bike nimble and puts torque down well. On trails, grip is solid. On pavement, the knobbies hum and feel a bit vague on lean, which is expected. I'm planning to try a more street-oriented rear if I keep doing neighborhood shakedowns between trail rides. The controller is a big reason I picked this bike. It ships with a far driver unit that can be tuned. With a simple Bluetooth dongle and the app, I adjusted how quickly the torque ramps in and pushed the top speed just a bit. I kept my changes conservative because I want reliability more than bragging rights, but the platform clearly has headroom. If you're new, the stock settings are already plenty. If you like to tweak, there's a whole community sharing tune files and sprocket tips, and it turns the bike into a project you can grow into. Build quality feels stout. The high carbon steel frame gives the bike a solid, confidence-inspiring feel when landing jumps or casing a lip. At around 121 pounds, it's not a featherweight. I can lift the rear onto a hitch rack by myself, but I won't pretend it's effortless. The kickstand is sturdy, the mudguards keep some of the spray off the shock and linkage, and the headlight is bright enough for dusk trail exits. I rode through light rain and damp trails without drama, and the electronics stayed happy. There are quirks. My shoelace loop snagged near the chain by the motor cover once, so I switched to shorter laces and tucked them. There's a small gap at the top of the motor cover where leaves can collect if you plow through brush. I put a small strip of foam there as a temporary fix until I decide on a cleaner solution. None of this is a deal breaker, but it's good to know if you ride in debris-heavy areas. A quick note on where you can ride it. This is sold as an off-road machine. No turn signals, no mirrors, no plate mount from the factory. Check your local rules and keep it to legal trails, private property with permission, or OHV areas. And wear a helmet and pads. The speed is fun, but it's still real speed. From my experience, the IN10 is easy to recommend if you're the kind of rider who wants strong performance without spending months upgrading a basic platform. It already has the power, suspension, and brakes you want, and the controller gives you room to personalize the feel. It's perfect for teens who are ready for a serious dirt-capable e-moto under supervision, smaller adults who want a lively trail ripper, and tinkerers who love dialing in throttle curves and gearing. I'd recommend this for riders up to about 5'9", who value agility, quick acceleration, and a turnkey setup that doesn't need a parts bin right away. In my opinion, the only real cautions are fit for taller riders, overall weight if you need to haul it solo, and the 48-volt ceiling if you're already deep into 60 volts or 72-volt builds. As a platform, though, it's strong. The power to weight feels right, the battery safety story is solid, and the ride quality makes me want to stay out longer. In conclusion, the Yozma IN10 hits the sweet spot for an electric dirt bike that feels premium where it counts. The torque is satisfying, the suspension is honest, the brakes are up to the task, and the battery and charger keep the downtime short. If you're within the size window and you want a bike that's capable on day one with room to grow, this checks the boxes. If this video helped, hit subscribe and drop your questions or your own tuning tips in the comments. Thank you for watching.